An aesthetic body is one that looks naturally attractive and muscular. Although aesthetic means to look good, when you have a lean, muscular physique, it's far more impactful than just looks. When I transformed my physique, it changed how I look in clothes, how much other people respected me, and even changed my own self-pride. The best part is that you can build an aesthetic body from anywhere, your living room, the park, another country, and you can do it completely for free without a gym membership. Most guys just do endless push-ups expecting to build a sick physique, and unfortunately, there's a lot more to it than that. So, in this video, I'm going to show you how to build an aesthetic body from home. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, starting off, let's get into the best exercises to build up mass, starting with my favorite, chest. Now, to build up your chest from home, unfortunately, it's gonna be a lot of push-ups. There's not really too many other ways around it when you have no equipment. However, you want to include regular push-ups as well as incline push-ups and decline push-ups. Decline push-ups in particular are going to really help you to get that fullness as they target the upper chest a little bit more, but it's still good to include the incline push-ups and regular push-ups so you're hitting sort of all areas of your chest. And if you wanted to get a bit inventive, you can also do dips. Now, dips are a great way to blow up the chest too, as long as you're targeting the chest and you're not, over targeting the triceps. Obviously, in an ideal world, you'd want to use a dip bar, but in this case, with no equipment, what you can use instead could be something else. You could use chairs, you could use tables, or even stairs in the banister. But essentially, to build up your chest from home with no equipment, push-ups and dips are going to be your best friend. Now, moving on to shoulders. This is really what's going to give you that V-taper, and having broad shoulders will help to make your physique pop off massively. So, to build them from home, what you can do is scapular push-ups. Now, these bad boys are hard as hell. Even just regular ones I struggle with a little bit, so they're actually good to blow up the delts. However, with getting bigger shoulders, a lot of it comes from the lateral head and from, lateral raises. So when I was younger and during 2020, I used to use literally bags, bricks, chairs to do like lateral raises. So get a little bit inventive with your home training. And obviously you won't have weight, but you could fill up a bag with books, and you can use practically anything. And trust me, it may seem really weird, but you actually do get like a decent mind to muscle connection, and it is tiring. So definitely try to include some lateral raises if you can. Now, coming on to triceps. Now, to build up your arms and to build up triceps, I would use dips for this. So with these type of dips, I would use something like a chair and actually have my arms, behind me and be doing the dips that way. Everyone should have chairs, should have like a sofa at home. So it's something you can do to blow them up. Or if you're lucky enough to have a dip bar, you can obviously do the normal tricep dips. As well as dips, diamond push-ups are a great way to blow up the triceps too. Hits about the chest, of course, but also targets the triceps a lot more compared to regular, push-ups. Now, coming on to probably the hardest muscle group to train when you're at home, back. Now with back, it's really tricky if you have no equipment. However, there's still a few things that you can do. So with rows, instead of using weights, dumbbells, barbells, what I used to do during lockdown is I'd fill up bags with things like books and any items I could find around the house, even like milk cartons, and this would act as a weight. And then I'd be able to use it to do a barbell row essentially, but with a backpack. Now, it's a little bit unorthodox, and I know there's going to be science-based guys saying, oh my God, it's not optimal for the brachialis and blah, 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 and whatever it is, but we're training at home, right? We've still got to find a way to get good tension. Obviously, you can still build up your physique with body weight, but it gets to a point where you've sort of outlifted yourself to a degree, and then adding weight, adding extra intensity and resistance is really going to help. So we're going to use some bags, we're going to fill them up, and we can use them for rows essentially, and just grip on it on both sides, and then you can row it and hold for a little bit and get a really good squeeze. Now, outside of rows, there's also pull-ups. Of course, with this, you sort of do need to buy a pull-up bar, they're only about 15-20 pounds. So I'd say this is a really good investment to taking your training to the next level. But if you don't have, like a doorway, you don't have anywhere you can do it, there should be some parks nearby you that you can use, or there's even, trees that you can use. But let's say worst case scenario, you're out in the sticks, you got nothing, you can't do any pull-ups or anything. What can you use? Well, instead of pull-ups, what you could do is inverted row. So you could find, like a table, a sofa, and you can do inverted rows on them. Now these are underrated. You're going to be thinking, oh yeah, that's proper easy, but trust me, you try to do loads of inverted rows on like a table or whatever, and it's a burner. Trust me, it's a burner. So that's something which you can do practically without equipment, but the back is an absolute bastard, man. And finally, the last upper body part, the biceps. Now these again are notoriously quite hard to build up when you're training from home, but again, if you have a pull-up bar or anything you can use as a pull-up bar, I would use that and do chin-ups. Now chin-ups are an amazing exercise because it's going to blow up your back as well as your biceps and brachialis and everything else. So if you can, I would do chin-ups. Outside of that, it is a little bit tricky. There's some sort of weird variations of push-ups, and there's others of even hanging onto a door and doing like door sort of curls. I think that's what they're called. I've tried it a couple of times, and to be completely transparent and honest, like I felt it a little bit, but it doesn't hit the same. So if you can invest in, then I would highly suggest doing that. Cool, so that's the upper body out the way. Now we can get onto the lower body, so legs, starting with the quads. So the best exercises to do for the quads is going to be things like squats, Bulgarian split squats. These ones are really good because even if you have no equipment at all, doing Bulgarian split squats on, a sofa, on a table, just body weight alone is pretty tough. But obviously you can add more weight, so you can add, bags, milk cartons, whatever it is. And then outside of Bulgarian split squats, I would also recommend wall squats. These are super hard, especially if you're, holding like a bag or something. It really tests, your cardio as well as your strength. And the final quad exercise would be regular squats, but with a bag, which is, heavy and got some books and stuff in it. Now we can move on to the hamstrings. So with the hamstrings, you can do single leg RDLs. Again, it can be completely body weight, or you can add, some weights, some books and stuff if you have that. Another good exercise for hamstrings is going to be glute bridges. Now with these, they can fire up your glutes as well as your hamstrings a little bit. So they're another solid exercise to include. And then with calves, you can do calf raises, and you can stand on, your stairs, one-legged calf raises or two-legged calf raises, or just normal calf raises. So this is pretty easy. Okay, cool. So you know what exercises to do in order to build up an aesthetic body at home, but how do you actually progress it without, stagnating and reaching a certain point where you can't progress anymore? Now, in terms of progress, there's a lot of different routes that you can go down. Obviously, adding, weight is going to be ideal. So you can use things like bags, bricks, like anything you can get your hands on. But outside of that, if you're training with purely no equipment, I would say that the best way to progress is going to be via tempo. Now, for things like pull-up, you can actually pause and hold at the top of the movement, and this is going to make it way harder and put so much more tension on your back. And even for things like push-ups, which are body weight related, now with these, if you're going explosive on the way up and then you're sort of holding, this can make it harder too. So tempo is really important and can make the intensity a lot harder. Outside of tempo, I'd also say to focus on strength rather than reps, because a lot of people focus so much on reps and they're doing 100, 200, 300 push-ups, and it gets to a point where you're just fatiguing and you're not really getting stronger. It's just mainly cardio related. So I'd still look to improve your strength and focus mainly on that. So if it's getting to a point where you're doing a crazy amount of push-ups, a crazy amount of sit-ups, whatever it is, then increase the tempo, increase the intensity rather than just adding reps on top of it. Okay, sweet. So you know what exercises to do now, you know how to increase the intensity. Now we can go on to the splits. What's going to be best for you? And the split that I used to do during 2020, during lockdown, was a 3-day full body split. Now this targeted each muscle group twice per week, and it did it with just 3 workouts. And with my workouts, they'd only take 45 minutes. So if you add that up across a week, that's 2 hours and 15 minutes across a whole week. So everyone has time to work out, to train, especially if you don't have to commute and go to the gym. So none of you can comment, I don't have time, I don't have time. Everyone should be able to stick to this at least. With the 3-day full body split, I actually program this for a lot of my clients, as they're usually, working office jobs, even directors, and then commuting like an hour or two in the morning, an hour or two in the evening. So by having a really quick, really simple routine that you can do, from home, you can do from the hotel, you can do at work or wherever you are, is actually really helpful, really beneficial to keeping the momentum going and keeping that habit of turning up. And if you need a bit more guidance in terms of programming, your training, your nutrition, and structuring it around your work, you can click on the first link in the description to find out more about my coaching. So the equipment that you should invest in. So pull-up bars are obviously on the list. However, I'd also go for resistant bands. Now these are amazing. They don't take up much space. However, you can use them for every single muscle group. You can use it for chest, you can use it for legs, you can use it for arms, and they're so versatile. And you don't need much space at all. If you have the space, I'd also invest in a dip bar, as this will help massively to blow up your triceps, blow up your chest, and it's a phenomenal piece of equipment to have. Cool, so that comes to the end of the video. And do let me know in the comments if you enjoy, content about home workouts, about bodyweight routines, as then I can cover it more. And for anyone who's looking to build muscle whilst working a 9 to 5, you can click on this video right here, where I explain all of my systems on how to transform your physique whilst working a busy job. Other than that, drop a like, drop a subscription. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.